This is the Devops mock interview day 117. We already completed 116 mock interviews. That is 116 mock interviews. If you are watching this video for the first time, you can check out all mock interviews in the playlist section. And please like this video so that we will get motivation to upload more mock interviews. And let's wait for my students to join. Okay, I do provide real-time training on DevOps. So this mocks will be only for the people who have enrolled. Okay, you too can enroll. You can ping me on WhatsApp. You can able to see the mobile number displayed here. Okay, just you can ping me in WhatsApp. Okay, just save this mobile number as DevOps Easy. Yeah, you can able to ping me on WhatsApp. You will get the details. Okay, these are the tools we are going to cover, and for everything you will get a class calendar when the class will start. Okay, normally class will be from morning 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. daily 1 hour Indian time IST. Monday to Friday you will be having classes. Saturday and Sunday you will be having a holiday. During Saturday and Sunday we will conduct mock interviews. Okay, let's wait for a few minutes. Okay, people will join.
But where sometimes I cannot able to even I can search in the internet, but I cannot able to understand what is the answer for that.
Okay, yeah, definitely. Like it's a normal. If you are applying for a normal, right? So you will find a question and answers. For DevOps, not like that. Even if you search it on the internet, you will not get answer. Even if you get that answer will not going to help because they will ask you a scenario. So and they will expect you to explain them the steps which you will follow. Like for suppose pod was failed. Why that pod has failed? Please explain me. So what are the steps you will follow? Like that they will expect. They will just test you. Really, you have worked on it or not.
Yeah, that's correct, sir.
Yeah, hi Arun.
Hi, Pawan. Good evening.
Yeah, hi. Good evening. So shall we start the mock?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Pawan.
Okay. Yeah, Arun. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. We'll do that.
Okay. Don't reveal your genuine
Okay.
information.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, first of all, thank you for this opportunity. I have 5 years of experience as a DevOps engineer with the primary focus on enhancing the application delivery through automation. This includes automating the infrastructure provisioning, building and maintaining the CI/CD pipeline, and efficient deployment, scaling, and the management of the Kubernetes clusters. About my responsibilities, I build robust CI/CD pipelines using tools like GitHub, Jenkins, and Argo CD. Along with, I have extensive experience in containerization and orchestration with Docker and Kubernetes. Additionally, I utilize a Terraform for infrastructure as a code to provision the infrastructure in the cloud environment like AWS, and Ansible for configuration management. I'm also skilled in monitoring and observability with the Prometheus and Grafana, which is crucial for system reliability and its performance. So over these years, I have also gained experience in working with some of the popular AWS services like EC2, EKS, S3, EBS, IAM, Route 53, VPC, subnets, and other networking components. So that's the snapshot of my experience. And I'm really excited about the opportunity to bring my expertise to your team and drive continuous improvement in development and operations. Thank you once again.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Arun. Sriraman, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Don't reveal
Thank you
your
for
genuine
having me.
information.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for having me here. I have 5 years of experience in IT field. So I have over 4 years of experience in DevOps. In my last organization, I was practicing Azure DevOps, where was my responsibility will be like creating pipelines, troubleshooting pipelines, ensure the build and deployment jobs are running smoothly. Also, we use Git for a version controlling tool, and also we use uh, 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 Terraform as a infrastructure as code. So we use a containerization orchestration tool as Docker and Kubernetes, and also we use Grafana Prometheus for a monitoring tool. So we have the ticketing tool like service now, where we used to get the tickets. As per the tickets, we resolve the issues, and also we get some things from the user end. So we from the request, also like creating users permission issues will be resolved by the as per the request from the user end. So we also get an email from users, and by ensure the email be resolved as soon as possible. So we, if any production issue is happening, so we make a bridge call. So we work together with the service desk and then the supporting teams, and we solve the issue as soon as possible. Also, we make a note in all the root cause analysis and document in proper way with the policies. So my job is not only limited to the DevOps. Also, I have been practicing Linux administration, where I was helping Linux administration team, where my job will be like troubleshooting any issues in servers or VMs which occurs in my infrastructure, where you used to take the snapshot backup as per the request. Also, solving any services stop, we restart the services and all the stuffs. So this is my overall view in my last organization. Hope this will help you. Thank you so much.
Super, Sriram. I don't have any feedback. Excellent. Please continue the
Thank you,
same.
sir.
Your introduction was totally realistic because you have explained me the scenario and the task, and you have mentioned the ServiceNow tool, and you have resolved the production ticket. So everything you have mentioned it clearly. I'm impressed.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Okay. So give me a moment. So I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, Arun, like what are the questions you have shared, right? The snippet which you have shared, have received it. Okay, and yeah, there will be multiple questions. Total, I think 31 questions are there. Okay, say there will be some disaster recovery, all these things. Okay, the questions was already collected the questions along with answers. Okay, and the what's all questions was
Super.
uh, yeah, the questions which I have observed, right, that all questions was totally realistic, and it will be definitely going to help once you prepare for these questions. But one thing I need to mention that I don't want to, right, expose it to the public, because you have came to me, you have paid an amount by trusting me. If I, right, make it public, there will be a, right, there, I'm not it will be not beneficial for you, because you have invested your hard earned money, and if I make it public, right, so whatever it will be not justification for you. So today we will be having a mock interview, but not on the questions which we have shared, but the questions which I have prepared, we will be having a mock. Tomorrow we will be having a private mock interview. Okay, and I will update it in our YouTube channel. In the long back, I think I already updated in our YouTube channel. I will update privately and I will share it. But right now, the question mock interview will not be on this. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay, then I will close this. Okay. Explain your CI/CD pipeline setup and tools you used in your project. So let's give a chance to Sri Raman. Then after you can answer. Explain your CI/CD pipeline setup and tools used in your project.
So we use Azure DevOps as a CI/CD pipeline tool, where we used to create a pipeline and make sure the CI integration runs smoothly, and also we deployed in a release pipeline. So first we create a Docker file, and then we'll build the image where we push them into the Azure container registry. And when the container after the CI pipelines, then we'll start to release pipeline, where we uh, place the manifest file, and then we'll pull the image from the container registry and then deploy it into Azure Kubernetes services. This is like overview of my CI/CD pipelines, how it will be built and deployed.
Yeah. So this is one of the wonderful question, and it's very too much important question. If you can able to explain this in the interview, right? So your 50% of interview was successful. So yeah, Arun, explain your CI/CD pipeline setup and tools used in your project. So you need to explain it clearly. So if you practice the project, right, whatever the project you have practiced, you can deliver the same. Arun, go ahead.
Got it. Sure. So basically, our application code is written in Java. So we established the CI/CD pipeline using Jenkins, automating the build process with the help of Maven that will package the application into jar file. And to ensure the code quality, we integrate the Sonar Cube, so that will perform the static code analysis after each build. So this will help us identifying the potential issues early in the development cycle. And after the each build and the testing is done, we create the Docker image of the application and utilize Trivy for scanning them for the vulnerabilities before the deployment process. So this is all we do in the CI part. And once the image is created, and it will be pushed to the registry in the Docker. And for the CD process, we use Argo CD as a GitOps tool, which will look after the Kubernetes manifest that we maintain in a GitHub repository. So once the image is updated, the change will be identified by the Argo CD, and it will automatically deploy the application in the Kubernetes cluster, which is deployed in EKS of AWS Cloud. So that is the end-to-end CI/CD process of our application.
Okay. So yeah, if anyone watching this video on YouTube, please like this video. And if you are getting any background noise, no, right? Is it
No.
everything is clear? Okay. So let's move to next question. How do you manage Terraform state across different environments?
Using workspace, so differentiate in a different environment like dev, test, and production.
Arun?
Yes, as Sri Raman said, we have workspace in Terraform, where we can create different workspaces for different environments, and keeping all those information in the single state file. But it sometimes becomes a complex when it grows. So the other way we have is we can keep a separate directory structure for each of the environments. So it will isolate the configuration uh, from one another, and also we can use a different bucket, or we can use a different prefix in the state file, where we when we maintain it in the remote backend like S3.
Yeah, I'm expected this remote backend. So now you have highlighted. Okay. What's your strategy for zero downtime deployment in Kubernetes?
So we use a blue-green deployment method where we can able to make one is active and one will be inactive. So gradually roll out the test and implement things in be in green environment. After that, it will be the traffic will be interchanged with the active one. I mean inactive one. So the other will be active.
So what's your strategy for zero downtime deployment in Kubernetes, Arun?
We basically use a rolling update strategy to update the newer version of the application without downtime. So in this, we define the maximum unavailable and maximum search. So this will gradually deploy the newer version without a downtime.
How do you troubleshoot a failed Jenkins pipeline? How do you troubleshoot a failed Jenkins pipeline? Sriraman.
Not sure.
Arun?
So for troubleshooting the pipeline, I would start with checking the console output of the job, where we can identify which part of the uh, Jenkins job is creating that issue. So based on that, we will troubleshoot and fix it. And once it is completed, then we rebuild the job.
How do you integrate SonarCube and Trevi into your Jenkins pipeline? So how do you integrate SonarCube and Trevi into your Jenkins pipeline? Sriraman?
I'm not sure, sir. Since I was working in Azure DevOps, I'll be not working in Jenkins, so I don't have any
Okay,
knowledge.
just take an Azure DevOps. Imagine you want to integrate SonarCube, right, and Trevi in your Azure DevOps. So how you will going to do it?
So usually we make a service connection for this Sonar Cube. Then we'll be giving the permissions and all the steps. Then we'll be integrating with the by writing the pipeline, where starter pipeline, where we'll be giving the steps and tasks according to the flow of pipeline, like this task.
How it will communicate with SonarCube?
We'll be giving a secure pipeline, like secure connect. I mean, make a connection where there is an option called secure pipeline. So the secure connection where we make a connections between these applications.
Okay, but how it will integrate with SonarCube? How it will access to Azure DevOps? How it will access to SonarCube? So you said service connection, but how it will going to do? How you will configure?
Configure.
So as you mentioned, service connection. So how you are going to enable the service connection? What are steps you will follow?
Yeah, when we go to service connection, there will be a search option where we can able to search for the Sonar Cube, and when it will appear, we need to give the record information for like creating service connection, logging information, and all the stuffs like directories, variables, and all the stuffs. After that, when it apply, it will be get connected to all the connected. I mean, it will be show the tick marks when the connection is successful.
Arun, how do you integrate SonarCube into Jenkins pipeline?
Okay, I would first start with installing the SonarCube and Trivy in the Jenkins server, and also installing the Jenkins plugin for SonarCube, and configure the SonarCube server details in the Jenkins. And then in the pipeline script, I will add a stage for both the SonarCube and Trivy with the respective steps, the commands that we want to perform in the steps.
Whatever Sri Raman mentioned, same you have mentioned the same. But how the communication will happen with SonarCube?
In the Sonar Cube, the communication will happen by here in the Jenkins, you will add the Sonar Cube server details, and also you log into the Sonar Cube server UI, and there also you will have to integrate Jenkins details.
Okay, how you will do it?
I think I forgot the steps.
Okay, whenever you execute Jenkins pipeline, right,
Adding the
it will execute
yes,
SonarCube steps, and okay, it will be get the project details will get added to your SonarCube dashboard. So in
yes.
order to do that, so how Jenkins will get access of SonarCube?
And we have to add the credentials in Sonar Cube, right? Like giving access and adding a project.
So you will generate a token in SonarCube.
Yes, correct. Yeah, that is the step I think I missed.
Yeah, That's the required thing, right? So you will generate the token, you will add that information token which you have generated in Jenkins. Then
Okay,
only, right?
Jenkins, and that we use in the steps of the SonarCube stage, right? With
Yeah, you will go
correct.
to manage
Yeah,
credentials. You will create a right SonarCube token. You will add that to whatever the token you have generated. You will copy the token. That's what, right? Main thing. That's what the integration, right?
correct.
Yeah. You are mentioning the same question which I'm asking. How do you integrate SonarCube into Jenkins pipeline? You are telling I will configure it. Everyone will know the configuration. What exactly the configuration steps? You need to explain that. This one, right, we have already done in real-time classes. So you should not forget.
Okay.
Have you implemented infrastructure as a code? Give me an example.
We use Terraform for infrastructure code, like creating VPC instances and other services, like using the TF file by implementing by running the TF file, we can able to create infrastructure as code with one command. So usually we try to write a TF file like main.tf file where we put all the informations like providers and then what resources we are going to create. And then also we can able to give the backend if you want to can be store the TF file in a S3 bucket which will be logged via DynamoDB. So also we can able to make different variables where we can able to put the variable TF file also, or we can able to mention everything in a main.tf file as well. So when we start initializing, we can able to initialize that. After that, we can give validate so that it will check any error in our code, and then we can give the Terraform plan. It will show the plan which going to be executed. Finally, we can able to give the Terraform apply, where we can able to get the implement when the things will be applied, and then it will create the VPC and all the stuffs accordingly, which we mentioned in the Terraform code.
Okay, you can store your TF file where.
In a S3 bucket for a backend. Like if you have a backend created, it will be stored in a backend like S3 bucket and then DynamoDB for locking.
Okay, you will store TF file in the S3 bucket.
Yeah,
Okay. Arun, how do you implement infrastructure as a code? Give an example. So what you will store, Arun,
Yes.
in S3 bucket?
In S3 we store a state file and DynamoDB for locking mechanism, and we maintain the TF files in GitHub repo.
Okay. So Sriraman mentioned he will store TF files in S3 bucket. Do you agree with him?
yeah. So yeah, I was my mind will be in TF state file, but my actually I was wrongly said that it's TF file. I was keep talking about TF file. That's why just
Ye-
replace the word with.
Yes, I completely agree. Sometimes we will confuse. But when opposite person was asking you, will you store the TF file? At that time, at least you need to realize. So I've asked you two times if you observe. So if
Yeah,
someone is asking you the same question, then you need to just shift your focus. So I've told you, will you store the TF file? So at that time also, you at least you need to think about it, right? So why is asking TF file? So will I really store the TF file in S3 bucket? So this mock interview was going little bit long. Is it okay, right? Or am I wasting your time?
that's fine.
I'm fine with it.
Okay,
Absolutely.
because it is almost nearly half an hour and we just completed six questions. We have more 14 questions to go.
That's fine. Every minute for me is a learning here, so I'm
Okay,
okay with it.
okay. Yeah, Arun, go ahead. How you will implement infrastructure as a code? Give me an example. What you have done.
Yes, so our application is basically deployed in EKS. To create that infra, we use a Terraform as an infrastructure as a code, and we start with creating the module for VPC, subnet, and other networking components like a route table, internet gateway, and elastic IP, NAT gateway. All those things we create as a module, VPC module, and also we create the module for remote backend where we create S3 bucket as a remote backend and DynamoDB for locking mechanism. And also we create EKS module in which we create a role for EKS cluster and attach required policies to that. And also we create a role for the node group where and also we attach the required policies to that and let the cluster, the case cluster consume that respective role. And also when creating the node group, the created role will be assumed here, and we define the scaling policies like a minimum, maximum, all those things, and decide count. And then in the root main.tf, we call that module and we create the EKS cluster for the application to deploy.
Okay.
So that is how we do.
Okay. So if you see Arun, like every mock interview, right, you will only join. So right now, like one more person was got get added. So due to this, right, this mock interview will little bit become interesting because so Sriraman will going to share the knowledge. You will also share the knowledge. Okay. If you have missed something, Sriraman might highlight. If Sriraman did some mistakes, you are going to highlight. So mutually, right, we will get too much of learning. Every day I will update the link in the group. Okay. In our group there are nearly
Sure.
15 members are there, but no one is joining. It's up to them. It's my responsibility to remind. But yeah.
Mm,
So yeah, you just need to get crack a job, and then only right they will get to know the importance of this mock interview.
Definitely, because I realized that mock interviews are important than learning, because how you showcase in the interview based on these practices.
Okay. I just want a good news soon.
Definitely, I'm working on it.
How do you handle secrets management in your infrastructure? Because from my side, right, I'm giving my 100%. Okay, I know you also giving your 100%. It totally depends upon the luck and the hard work, and the market is also right. You need to get the opportunity as well. But yeah, whatever the hard work you are giving, definitely God will bless. So, yeah, how do you handle secrets in your
Thanks.
infrastructure? Sriraman, you want to try? How do you handle secrets?
So usually Terraform doesn't have inbuilt for us handling secrets. So like usually for the Kubernetes, we use a secret where we can encode the secret file with a base 24 and then sorry base 64, and then for uh, Ansible we use Vault where we can able to
Yeah,
secure the
yeah.
secrets.
The question was, how do you handle secrets in your infra, not on Kubernetes or on in Ansible? Arun,
Yes, we basically manage the secrets in the cloud part. We use the secrets manager where
yes.
we store the sensitive information. And for the Kubernetes, we use secrets for storing the sensitive information like credential API tokens, all those things, and the config maps for
No,
non-sensitive
here the question
configuration
was
information
related to infrastructure. Okay,
or
you have answered.
infrastructure. Okay.
Your answer, secrets manager. It was right. You no need to mention the Kubernetes Ansible.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, sometimes I might be rude. Don't take it in negative.
No problem. Yeah.
Yeah, if speak it with smoothly, right? It will not help you. Okay, describe how you monitor applications and infrastructure and the tools which you are going to use and approach. Just explain me that. So how you are going to
So we
monitor
use
applications and infrastructure.
Prometheus and Grafana tool for monitoring infrastructure, where Prometheus will help us to fetch the metrics actually, but it won't help us to visualize the monitoring. But when the Grafana will use to fetch the information from the Prometheus, and it will show the graphical way, so we can able to see the and help to monitor the application's current state, if anything failure, and alerts and all the stuffs via Grafana.
Arun?
Yes, to monitor the application, we use the Prometheus stack, where the components are node exporter, which run as a daemon set in the Kubernetes cluster on the each node that will scrap the metrics like CPU, memory, and other custom metrics. So the collected information will be stored in the Prometheus as a time series database. And to visualize, we use a Grafana dashboard where we can see the information, and also we integrate it with the alert manager. So that will send out the notification if there is any incident happening based on the metrics like CPU or any other custom metrics, if by creating a rule for it. So this is how we monitor and uh, incident responses.
Okay. Yeah, Sriraman. I just planning a Azure DevOps project for this current branch. Uh, batch,
Okay.
sorry, not branch. So if you have anything, right, if you just want to share me something resources, definitely go ahead and share in the WhatsApp. It will help. Okay, right now I'm working in Azure DevOps project itself.
Okay.
Okay, as you worked in the Azure DevOps, so just give me resources or any links which are available. So it will help me to deliver the best content for the current batch.
Yeah, sure,
I just want to
sure, sure.
do a project on Azure DevOps.
Yeah, actually, I don't have practical knowledge, but I just was reading in a website, and watching videos. I was having myself. I was trying implementing CI/CD pipeline myself in a laptop. So that's the knowledge I have. But
Oh,
other than that, I have any other information, I will share you in a WhatsApp, sir.
definitely. I thought you really worked in Azure DevOps. Okay, no issues. Okay, but still, right? Even I believe that you already worked in Azure DevOps. So the way of introduction you have given, right? It was
Yes.
next level. I really believe that you worked in Azure DevOps and I asked you to share the project. So that means you are going well. So please continue the same. Definitely you will get a job.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, what is your disaster recovery strategy in the cloud? In the cloud, like for suppose in Azure or AWS or GCP or whatever it may be. Like what is your disaster recovery strategy? If you go through AWS solution architect, right, or Azure solution architect, you will easily answer this question. So what is your disaster recovery strategy in the cloud? This one was mentioned in Arun in one of the question, right, Arun?
Yes, I got this question a couple of times, I think.
Okay, what is your disaster recovery strategy, Arun?
Yes, we have our disaster recovery strategy designed to minimize the data loss and downtime. Also, a focus on prevention with the high availability within the region. Like we use a multi-AZ deployment, load
Super.
balancing with the application load balancer, and auto scaling to handle the failures. So this is the preventive measures we have taken. Plus, we have also uh, created read replicas for the databases in the multi-AZ. And also we have a backup and recovery mechanism deployed. So with which we automate the database snapshot and store the backups in the S3. And for the mainly on the for the discovery disaster recovery, we use a cross region failover strategy, which means we use the route 53 of the AWS service to redirect the traffic to the standby region which we have in case of any failure. So the route 53 will constantly check the health of the endpoints. So if the primary region goes down, it will automatically route the traffic to the standby region. So this enables the recovery of the environment quickly.
Okay, so as I mentioned, I was planning for Azure DevOps, right? So I will show 5 projects, one using Jenkins and one project using Azure DevOps, and a few more I will give as a task. So totally, nearly you will get 10 real-time projects.
Okay.
Yeah, here right now I'm working in Azure DevOps. As I mentioned, they have release pipeline. They have different environments. So which I will not going to explain right now. But yeah, when I plan a project at the time, I will explain you. But still, I'm working on it. Yeah, definitely have 2 more weeks of time. Definitely, I will work. Right, just now, right, I got access to view all the pipelines of Azure DevOps. So I will just make a what replica of the project because I cannot directly show the real-time project, right? So they will fire me from the company. But I can have the same replica with some other naming conventions. Like if you want to purchase the iPhone, right, you will get a original iPhone or right a replica of iPhone. But it is like when you see, right, you if you go to the about device, then only will get to know okay it was right edited version of iPhone. But real but if you see it is totally realistic. In the same way I will show you the project, you can explain the same in the interview. It will help you and they will definitely believe whatever you have explained. In future, right, I will add I will upskill the content as well according to the market. Okay, explain how would you scale an application running in Kubernetes. How do you scale an application running in Kubernetes? Sriraman?
By giving the command kubectl scale deployment name hyphen replicas equal to any number which you want to scale, I believe.
Okay, in the backend, right, you can able to utilize Google as well sometimes if you cannot able to answer.
Okay.
Arun, how do you scale an
For
application?
scaling, I would use a horizontal pod autoscaler. So where I would define the maximum and minimum based on the metrics like CPU, memory, or any other custom metrics like HTTP request. So this way we can do auto scaling in a Kubernetes cluster.
Okay. So still we have 10 questions. So it was nearly 40 minutes. Shall we continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sure.
What is your approach to patch management and OS updates across servers? So there are multiple servers are there. Okay, you want to update the operating system, Linux, Linux kernel update or whatever it may be, patch updates. So what are the approach you will follow? So like what is your approach to
For
patch
this we
management and
use
OS updates?
yeah, for this we use Ansible for configuration management, where we make a host file and we'll input all the IP address of the host, and then we'll write the YAML file according to the patch upgrade by giving the URL patch from the website, security patch, and all the stuffs will be written in a YAML file, and then we'll apply by executing the YAML file. We can able to update and patch the servers in one command.
Arun, as I said,
Yes,
right, if
I
you
would
don't
also
know,
use
you
the.
can able to Google it. So as Sriraman is answering, right? So in the backend, you can
Hmm,
find the realistic one, right? So I'm just like telling you, don't take it in negative manner because it will add to your brain memory. Because when you attend the real interviews, right? So whatever you learn right
hmm.
now in this mock interview, it will be added to your brain permanently. So when you attend the real interviews, it will help. Okay, Arun, go
Yes,
ahead.
for me, without checking in the Google or anywhere, if I try to answer, I can check my capability. And once you show me the answer, I will try to store that. So that works better for me. So yeah, coming to the answer, yes, I would use the configuration management tool Ansible, where we should ensure that we have those servers added to the host file, the inventory, and also we can write the playbook to install the updates using the Ansible facts in which OS we want to install those updates.
Okay, how do you roll back a faulty deployment in Kubernetes or Jenkins? How do you roll back a faulty deployment in Kubernetes? Sriraman?
Kubectl rollback undo, I believe. Not sure.
Arun?
Yes, in the Kubernetes, we use the command kubectl rollout undo deployment name,
Sorry, rollout. Yeah.
or we can use the version option where we can go to any respective specific version of the deployment. And in the Jenkins, I think I cannot recall. We discussed. I cannot recall the answer at this moment.
Okay, how do you use Ansible for configuration management in production environment? So how do you use Ansible for configuration management in production?
So if it is in production, so by making a serial, like not implementing all the host in one go, by making a serial, like for 100 servers, like first we'll install in 10 servers, later it will be installed in 10 servers. In that way, we can able to maintain uh, implement the installations in a production environment without any downtime. I mean,
No, like how you are going to use Ansible for configuration management. Arun?
Yes, we use the Ansible for software installation. Like once the services, for instance, EC2 are deployed, we wanted to install any package, application, or web servers, we can install it. And for security updates, consistent throughout the servers, or managing files, copying or creating any new files. So this is done using the inventory uh, and the playbook.
Okay, what Ansible will do, you have said, but in the production point of view, you need to explain. Okay. What are the best practices you will follow for writing a Docker file? Sriraman, what are the best practices you will follow to write a Docker file?
so ensure use the lightweight images like Alpine, and also avoiding unnecessary file like using Docker ignore, and also giving, not using the root credential, using user credentials for ensure the security purpose. uh, basically also making multi-stage for writing a pipeline, like for building and compiling will be in different stages. So this is best practice I did.
Arun, what are the best practices you will follow for writing Docker file?
Yes, the best practices that I would follow is using the multi-stage build, where we copy only the necessary files from one stage to another. So in the final, we reduce the size of the image. So that is for optimizing. And other than that, we can go with the a health check. We can do health check. And for the security, we can use non-root user and merging the run commands and using a basic image like Alpine or Distrolus.
Okay, if anyone watching this video still, if you're continuing, so definitely you have too much of passion. Please like this video, right? It will help us, right, to conduct more mock interviews.
And also we can use environment variables or arguments.
How do you handle blue green or a canary deployment in Kubernetes? How do you handle blue green or a canary deployment in Kubernetes?
Like blue green will be deployment for used for a zero time deployment, where one will be active, one will be inactive. So where the inactive will be tested for the application testing deployment, and when the application testing everything will be done and the version will be updated, then the traffic will be inverted to the inactive one, then active one will be get inactive. So this is a blue green deployment, where the canary deployment, where we will be deploying to only for group of people, and rather than for the entire environment. So after successfully deploying testing for the group of people, later slowly roll out to the other people, other team as well, other production, yeah, other test environment as well. So this is canary environment.
Arun, how do you handle blue green or canary?
Uh, yes, we have to create a identical environment and deploy the newer version. And once the test is successful, we route the traffic from blue to green. And in the canary, also we test the new version only to a small subset of people. Uh, but I think I have never done that realistically in Kubernetes cluster. So that's why I'm thinking about the steps.
How do you manage IAM rules and policies using Terraform? How do you manage IAM rules and policies using Terraform?
By creating resources in Terraform for IAM users, and uh, also policies, also we can able to create resources. We can able to get the code from Terraform official website for if you are for AWS, and then where we can able to search for IAM. From that you can able to get the code, and then you can edit as per you need.
Super,
So that.
super, you are right. Arun,
No, actually, I don't know the answer for it.
you should not tell that. So whatever the Sriraman mentioned, right? You will follow the terraform.io official website. There you will find every information. From there you will collect the code. Using that you will deploy it. Uh, right?
Okay,
That's what he has mentioned, right? You need to tell the same.
okay,
You should not
got it.
tell that I don't know. So Terraform is an infra tool. Okay, in AWS you will be having multiple services. So for everything, if you right? If you need to remember the code, it is not going to happen. But if you know the steps exactly how to create, as Sri Raman mentioned, if you can able to explain at least the step, right? At least
Mm,
interviewer will impress. So if you simply tell I don't know,
okay.
then the meaning was you never worked on it.
Got it. Yeah. Once we know how to do it in the console, we can follow the same steps by
Not about the
using the
console.
data. Yeah.
Not about the console. Or like what Sri Raman mentioned. Sri Raman, please can you repeat once again what you will do? Like for suppose if I want to create AM rules and policies, that too using Terraform.
So first we try to write a TF file, but by writing resources for IAM and also creating policies for IAM. For going to the website Terraform, from there you can able to search for the AWS, where and also search for the IAM and policies. You can copy the code from there and then you're able to paste it for TF file, and can able to edit as per your required infrastructure. So after saving that, you can aim to implement this.
Got it, Arun?
Yes.
So not about the console how you will create the code, how you will going to collect. That is important.
Got it.
What security practices do you follow while deploying applications in the cloud? What security policies do you follow while deploying application in the cloud?
As per my knowledge, we use rollbacks access control for the users for cloud access, ensure the security. Only the certain people have the access for deploying these applications. Most probably when the deploying layer found, there will be initiated the approval request to a manager or the required person. By initiating the approve request, we can able to make sure the only certain person who can able to approve the process. So this is my this is the things we follow in our environment, as per my knowledge.
Arun,
Yes, the security best practices. Um, I would keep the yes, I would use the secrets manager to store the sensitive information, and I would keep the databases. Things like databases will be in the private subnet, and I would use TLS SSL certification for HTTPS conversion, and yes, also we'll have the additional layer of security through the security group and NACL for the subnet level controlling the port inward traffic, and then firewall like WAF will be configured with the load balancer. I think these are the security practices I would use.
how do you handle log aggregation and centralized logging in your infrastructure? So how do you handle log and centralized logging in your infra? Arun?
Yes, so for logging, I would use the EFK stack, where the logs will be basically collected from each of the node of the EKS cluster through Fluent Bit as a agent that run as a daemon set in each of the node, and that will be collected in the Elasticsearch, which is connected to EBS for storing the logs. And for visualizing, we use Kibana. So this is the stack we integrate with the Prometheus cluster. Sorry, with the EKS cluster for login.
So, Sriraman, do you want to try?
So
How
for
to handle
alternative
log?
EFK cluster, for alternative, we can use Loki, Promtail, and Grafana. Promtail, which collects the logs, and Loki stores and index them, and Grafana visualize them as per the logs from the Loki.
Okay. Explain how DNS resolution works inside the Kubernetes. How DNS resolution works inside Kubernetes. Arun, how DNS resolution works inside Kubernetes.
Okay, so I will give a try. So I Each of the service will have a cluster IP created by the kube proxy, and from there you will do the service discovery with labels and selectors, which is between service and the pods. So I think that is how the DNS resolution happening in the Kubernetes.
Sriraman, you want to try? How DNS resolution works inside Kubernetes.
Core DNS is a default DNS service, while Kubernetes uses Core DNS as a DNS server. It runs deployment in kube system as a namespace. All pods in a cluster use the DNS for resolving services and pod names.
So using a core DNS, which is a inbuilt feature of Kubernetes, via that it can able to communicate between the pods. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So final question for today. Have you ever performed cloud migration? If you have done, what were the challenges and the solution? So have you ever performed cloud migration? What were the challenges and solutions? Arun?
Yes, so for this we have to first plan. We have to analyze the complete infra running in the on-premise, and based on that we have to create the infrastructure, and then we have to uh, containerize and move the application. And the challenges is moving the databases. Mm, I
Sriraman?
think
So it depends upon the same cloud we are moving, or we are moving to the different service provider. So if it is a different provider, the challenges will be a more, and then we can able to migrate the cloud by facing the activities in different phases. Like slowly we can able to migrate. We cannot migrate in one stretch. So we have to plan accordingly. So we need to prioritize the services which has to be migrated first, and then slowly we can able to move for the critical resources. Usually this way we can able to migrate to the other services, I mean other cloud providers or
Okay.
migration.
So yeah, this is the longest mock interview in this year, in the year 2025. So until now, this one the longest mock interview. So shall we check the answers?
Yes, sir.
So until now, I didn't
sure.
conducted more than 1 hour. Okay. So the 20 real-time interview questions. Explain your CI/CD pipeline setup and tools used in your project. So we use Jenkins. The answer will be we use Jenkins as our main CI/CD tool. Developers push code to GitHub, which triggers a Jenkins job via webhook. The pipeline performs SonarCube code analysis, Trivy image scanning, build a Docker image, pushes it to ECR, and deploys to EKS using Helm. So notifications are sent via Slack. Okay. So you can, I will update this in GitHub. You can able to go through it. Okay. And if you want to add some more points, definitely go ahead and add. Okay. How do
Sure.
you manage Terraform state across different environments? So we use remote backend in AWS S3 with separate folders or buckets per environment. Example dev or prod. So DynamoDB is used for state locking, right? To prevent race conditions in concurrent deployments. So what's your strategy for zero downtime deployment in Kubernetes? We use rolling updates in the deployment spec with max unavailable. For critical apps, we use blue-green or a canary deployment strategies using Argo rollouts. So how do you troubleshoot a failed Jenkins pipeline? So I check the Jenkins console output, inspect individual stage logs, verify environmental variables, check Docker build logs or kubectl describe pod if the deployment fails. If needed, I rerun the job with debug flags. Okay, how do you integrate SonarCube and Trivia into your Jenkins pipeline? So for SonarCube, I will use with SonarCube environment block and Maven scanner. For Trivia, I run the shell command like Trivia image application name. Yes. So and fail the build if vulnerabilities are found. So right exit code one nothing but right away exit if the severity is critical. Okay, if the image scan was severity if I get critical, so don't go ahead to next stage. So exit code one nothing but stop it the pipeline build. Got it? Have you implemented infrastructure as a code? Give an example. Yes, I use Terraform to provision VPC, subnet, EKS cluster, RDS, S3. For example, our entire staging environment, network plus compute plus database, is codified in a Terraform module. So that's what we have discussed in our class. You need to highlight you have set up this testing environment or development environment. Yes or no? Did we set up this? VPC, subnets, internet gateways.
Yes.
How do you handle secret management in your infrastructure? So we use AWS Secret Manager or a Archicop Vault to store secrets. In Kubernetes, secrets are mounted via volumes or environmental variables and encrypted rest for Ansible. We use Ansible Vault. Describe how you monitor applications in infrastructure. So we use Prometheus for metrics, Grafana for visualization, and Alert Manager for notification. Fluentd or Ilk stack used for logs. Infrastructure health is monitored via CloudWatch and custom dashboards. So here, all monitoring tools as mentioned. So what is your disaster recovery strategy in the cloud? So we replicate data across multiple regions, right? Using RDS cross-region replication and regular S3 backups. So EKS clusters are backed up via Veloro. DNS failover is configured in Route 53 using health checks. How do you scale an application running in Kubernetes? So we configure horizontal pod autoscalers based on CPU and memory. For large scale applications, cluster autoscaler right scale nodes. Additionally, we use load testing tools to simulate traffic before scaling. What is your approach to patch management and OS updates? We use Ansible for patch automation in cloud. AWS SM Patch Manager helps patch EC2 instances. For containers, we rebuild base images regularly using CI pipelines. How do you roll back a faulty deployment in Kubernetes? So kubectl rollout under deployment and the deployment name. So on Jenkins, I maintain build artifacts and use a previous tag to redeploy. So Helm also supports rollback via Helm rollback. How do you use Ansible in production? So we use Ansible for config management, package installation, user creations, application deployment, or server provisioning, inventories or dynamic sources from AWS EC2 or CMDB. What are the best practices for writing a Docker file? Use small base images like Alpine. Avoid installing unnecessary packages. Use multi-stage builds. Minimize layers. Always pin versions. Don't stage secrets into images. How do you implement blue green or canary deployment in Kubernetes? Use Argo rollout or Flagger or with Istio. We split traffic gradually between old and new versions. We use metrics to validate new versions before full rollout. How do you manage IAM roles and policies using Terraform? So we define IAM roles as Terraform resources like AWS underscore IAM role, AWS underscore IAM policy, and use AWS IAM role policy attachment for binding. So each environment gets its own role with limited privilege. So what security practices do you follow while deploying application in the cloud? So use IAM roles with least privilege, enable encryption, use security groups and NACLs, scan Docker images, enable CloudTrail. How do you handle log aggregation and centralized logging? So we use EFK, nothing but Elasticsearch, Fluentd, Kibana, or a Loki plus Grafana stack. Logs are collected via Fluent or FileBeat with metadata and shipped to the central store. So if you know the Elk stack, right, there you will get to know what is this FileBeat. So using FileBeat is a tool which collect the logs. So long back I worked on this Elk stack, but right now companies are working like using Prometheus and Grafana. Okay, explain how DNS resolution works inside Kubernetes. So Kubernetes uses core DNS. Services are registered with names like service dot the namespace dot svc dot cluster dot local. Pods uses kube DNS as a name server, and core DNS resolves internal and external names. So have you ever performed cloud migrations? What were the challenges and solutions? Yes, we migrated from on-premise to AWS. Challenges includes data synchronization, network latency, legacy app compatibility. We used AWS DMS or Snowball and containerized legacy apps for cloud readiness. So there is a mock private as well. Okay, which the questions here we have 31 interview questions which Arun has shared. Okay, we will be conducting mock. So tomorrow you will be available, Arun, at 10 a.m.
Yes,
morning,
Pawan. Yeah,
morning
I'm
10 a.m.
fine with the timing.
Okay. So yeah, I will update when we can have a mock. Okay. Yeah, I will stop the recording right now.